the wolf among the sheep in a small town where everyone knew each other. There were people with mundane concerns, work, family, children, but there was someone hiding among them who never stood out from the crowd. His name was Alexei. He looked like an ordinary middle-aged man who worked at a car service station, talked to neighbors, and helped children with their small tasks. But behind the kind exterior, there was a dark secret. Alexei grew up in a dysfunctional family. Since childhood, he lacked love and care, and his parents often quarreled. When he became a teenager, tragedy turned his world upside down. His parents died in a car accident, and he was left living with his abusive uncle, who often tortured and humiliated him. As a result, the cozy world of childhood turned into a real hell for him. Since then, a sinister seed of hatred has been born in Alexei's soul. He began to observe people, analyzing their behavior, watching every move. He loved watching those who seemed happy to him, dreaming that one day he would understand what makes people like that. No one suspected his inclinations. He carefully disguised himself as an ordinary person. One day, when Alexei was returning home late at night, he noticed that someone was following him. It was a young woman named Lena, who had just returned from a party. Her laughter and pleasant company made him jealous. He decided that she was the ideal he was missing, and that she should be his next victim. Alexei began to pursue Lena, began to observe her life and habits. He was interested in watching how she was having fun with her friends, how she was smiling. This joy, which he had never experienced, filled him with hatred and a burning desire to take over her world. Soon he decided to take a step. At night, when Lena returned home, Alexei was waiting for her in the alley. He put on a mask and attacked her. After making sure that no one would see her, he grabbed her and dragged her to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. In captivity, Lena tried to convince Alexei to let her go, but he only laughed. Feeling power over her fear, she was his ideal object, someone with whom he could control his pain. He began telling her about his childhood experiences, his hatred of happiness, and how he had waited a long time to find someone with whom he could share his dark side. Every day her fear turned into despair, and although she tried to escape, Alexei always managed to bring her back. Thinking about how all this could have ended, Lena realized that her life was gone. She became a toy in the hands of a psychopath who couldn't resist. One day, at the moment of his weakness, Lena gathered all her strength and tried to stab him with a knife that she could hide in her pocket. But Alexei managed to dodge, and in anger he hit her hard, breaking her nose and knocking out several teeth. From that moment on, Lena's whole world collapsed. Day after day, Alexei came to his new toy, and each time he played with Lena more and more subtly. One day, he decided that the girl's nails were too long and beautiful. So he took the pliers one by one and began to pick out her nails. The girl screamed in pain, cried, and lost consciousness. But Alexei never stopped. For him, the screams were a delight. He wanted them to never end. The next day, when Lena was already in a dying state, Alexei decided that a girl with such beautiful eyes should not leave the house. But since she was not at home, but was with him now, her eyes needed to be hidden urgently. The girl, realizing quickly, squeezed her eyes shut. But what her abductor decided to do could not be undone. Heating a rusty nail on the burner, which he found on the windowsill, he slowly began to bring it to the girl's face. She wanted to shout something, get up, run away. But she had neither the strength nor the opportunity. When Alexei pierced Lena's eye, she no longer screamed. The man overdid it and damaged not only the girl's eye, but also her brain, from which the girl died instantly. Alexei got up, dusted off his hands and coat, and sadly said, "It's broken." Unable to bear such betrayal, Alexei decided to end it in order to free his soul from fear and hatred. He did not realize that his actions would lead to his own downfall. As he did this terrible thing, a scream rang out in the back of his mind, a scream that he was unable to stifle. A few days later, local authorities started looking for Lena. The neighbors began to notice her absence, and the local media soon made a sensation out of this story. The police conducted searches in the neighborhood, but could not find her or any evidence that could help in the investigation. But one day, when they were exploring an abandoned warehouse, they came across a terrible discovery. There were words written in blood on the walls that Alexei had left in his mad joy. Broken toys are trash. Lena's body was never found, but her disappearance was the beginning of the hunt for the kidnapper. Alexei disappeared, starting to move from city to city, and who knows? Maybe he will settle in your city or village. Most likely. You will never know that behind a good-natured neighbor who is always ready to come to the rescue, there is a homicidal maniac who calculates his moves in advance, and maybe he wants to make friends with you.